Let's talk to the government's Deputy Chief Medical Officer, who's Gina Radford. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, firstly, the change in the law today is that if you have someone under 18 in your car, you can no longer smoke in that car.
Absolutely.
As an adult. And what impact do you think that will have on children's health, but also on smoking rates?
Well, children are particularly susceptible to second-hand smoke. Second-hand smoke contains some really nasty things in it that can cause lung problems, bronchitis, asthma, cancer and meningitis. Children are really vulnerable because their respiratory systems, their immune systems aren't as well formed as adults.
And when the driver says, well, just roll down a window, that doesn't make much difference?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. Recent research from Newcastle University has shown that even with the windows wound down, which logically you'd think, well, that will help. No, the levels of these pollutants are 100 times higher than the safe level. Even with the windows, there is no way to safely smoke cigarettes in cars.
A lot of people getting in touch this morning saying, we don't think this is... It's about time this has come in, but it's not actually the job of the police to do. This is the job of parents to protect their children. And the responsibility put on the police to stop and fine these people when we see the police going through all these cuts. They just don't have the manpower to be able to implement the fine anyway.
Absolutely, because certainly from previous smoke-free legislation, when we introduced the smoke-free legislation in pubs, we found very, very high levels of compliance, that people realised that if it's a law, you know what, this is serious, and they complied off their own volition. We're very, very confident, because no parent wants to harm the health of their child.
It's a public space, though, so there's lots of people around who are going to be affected, and a car is a more personal space, it's more intimate, so there's not necessarily going to be the guilt of being surrounded by other people who are going to come over and say, I'm sorry, you can't smoke that there.
But at the end of the day, no parent wants to harm the health of their child, and part of the reason for this law also is to make people more aware of the risks that they're putting their children to, and to really think twice, firstly about the health risks for their own children, but maybe it'll also help them to think about, you know what, is this time I should think about stopping smoking completely?
Well, yes, and that's an interesting point. I wonder at what point there might be parents thinking, well, where am I allowed to smoke other than outdoors? Is there at some point going to be, you can't smoke in the house if you've got children under 18?
As a doctor, clearly, my prime concern is for the health of the children, which is why we're saying not in cars.
Would you like that to be the law?
Anything that we can do to stop children being exposed, who are particularly vulnerable to the risks of second-hand smoke, has to be encouraged, and anything that we can do to help people to stop smoking has to be encouraged.
Would you push for that? Would you push for a law?
At the moment,
on smoking in the home?
At the moment, we're sticking with cars because that seems to be proportionate at the moment.
At the moment, but down the line.
Let's see how this goes. But at the moment, we're hoping that because this will really raise people's awareness about the risks that children are exposed to, and for many people, they just won't have realised. Yeah. They really won't. They're not deliberately wanting to put their children at risk. They won't have known. This law helps them to really realise.
Deputy Chief Medical Officer Gina Radford, good to talk to you this morning.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Thank you.